I'm also the acting director of the Bureau of Business and Government Relations and Public Affairs.
Now I'm a supplier to the mining industry.
I'd like to see the state develop a comprehensive strategy, and I think that strategy has to have a balance between taking a look at the shorter term, more applied research activities that are going to be essential to keep our integrated producers strong and competitive. And
pay taxes? Religion? Do you pay taxes?
Do you have to have a constitutional
right?
right?
Are you paying taxes?
Do you have to have a constitutional right?
Oh, well,
you have to have a constitution. You have to,
your people pay
you have to have a
taxes.
change in the constitution to practice your religion.
Everybody has rights. Everybody's got equal rights. There is no special interest groups around here. Equal rights for everybody.
Human rights for all of us. Equal rights for everyone.
I bow hunt.
It's a sport for you.
I'm a sportsman. I'm out in the woods more than you are.
My dad rides his airplane shooting foxes and wolves.
No, I don't. I have a game farm.
My dad does that.
I have a game farm. I love your culture.
We don't have no nuclear.
love your culture.
We don't have no nuclear power plant.
I burn with wood.
We're not polluting everything.
My last name isn't Custer.
What's 50%?
My last name's not Custer.
What's good for getting?
It's unfortunate what happened to you people, but why should I pay for it? Why should I pay for it? You tell me why I should pay for it.
You have the same ignorance as George Armstrong.
You have more ignorance than I do, my friend.
Indian people.
You will not back us down. You're going to have to walk on us, but we will not give up. We will not, because these are our rights. You're not giving us any rights. You're not giving us anything. All we're doing is claiming what is ours, and that's what we're going to do. Okay?
We got a length limit because we built Mille Lacs Lake to be the #1 walleye lake in the state. It's the #1 tourist area in the state. We gave up all our rights to do that because we wanted to preserve and make Mille Lacs Lake beautiful. We don't want nobody spearing on the lake, nobody gill netting. It's everybody's lake. We all want to use it, my kids and their kids. We want to preserve Mille Lacs.
I catch and release. I catch and release. 106 fish, yeah. 106
That's why there's so many trophy fish all
I don't have a trophy fish on my wall. You're not talking about my bar. You're not talking about my home.
Who takes more fish, white sportsmen or the Indians?
Yeah, I'm telling you, whose fish are you taking?
Who takes more?
Everybody's fish. Everybody should.
Is this about race?
It's not. It has absolutely nothing to do with race at all. There's no. I mean, if anybody is trying to say that is dead wrong. It has no race connotation whatsoever.
Scandalous, explicit, a right royal shocker.
The question is, will Charles now ever be King of England?
They're calling it Camilla Gate, but for Prince Charles it may become his Waterloo. Sexually explicit quotes from a tape-recorded conversation. Unfortunately for the prince, it wasn't his princess on the other line. It was Camilla Parker Bowles. Since the tape has gone public, this mother of two has been hounded by the media. Her husband is keeping mum.
Well, I've nothing to say, so you're wasting your time here. Thank you.
Newspapers in England are having a field day. The subjects of the royal crown are split.
Everybody else says silly things, and he's just a normal person.
I think he just sort of, on the whole, degraded himself, really. He's brought it really down to the gutter level.
For months, turmoil has surrounded the royals, leading some to question whether the monarchy has outlived its usefulness. Professor Paul Sharp of UMD, also from England, doubts its days are numbered.
The institution of monarchy is pretty popular. Also, it's very important to the way the British political process works. You have to think of the monarch as something like your own president in terms of the ceremonial aspect, head of state, but not involved in politics. So if you got rid of the royal family, you'd have a big hole, and you'd have to figure out whether you wanted a presidential system to replace it. So that would involve a lot of constitutional work, and constitutional work is a big headache. So I think people would really try to avoid that.
Rumors persist that Prince Charles himself may have leaked his love affair to the media.
It may well be that Charles has made a private decision, which he can't quite tell his mother yet, that he doesn't want to be king.
So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
Hundreds marched in Duluth today to remember Martin Luther King, to reflect on how far civil rights have come and how far they have to go, even in Minnesota.
This state, along with a few other states, at the tune of 935 police officers in the city of Minneapolis, while we only had 11 minorities, 3 of them black, they had to take all of the funds of the police department to make them hire people that look like me.
Despite the history and lingering doubts, many at today's march say hope for the future is as strong today as it was then.
It's not really a black thing anymore. It's about people caring and loving one another, and I think that means a whole lot.
And that feeling of caring is what organizers hope will last more than just one day in January.
And this train is going to ride, and it ain't going to be stopped. It ain't going to stop in no town called It Takes Time. It ain't going to stop in no town called We Working on It. It ain't going to stop in no town called One of These Days. This train is going to ride. This train is going to ride and ride till it gets to a town called Freedom. And that day we're going to say, freedom, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Earlier in the afternoon.
It's something basically we're trying to go after, getting Minnesotans excited about the summertime, making them feel maybe not so cold in the winter. So it's just got a different feel to it now with the tropical flair.
Yeah, and do you expect more customers to be coming in as a result of this?
We do. We do expect our customer base to grow. Basically, we're trying to compete with the other Indian gaming casinos in Las Vegas.
Represents
what's an expected completion date now for the
effort, and I would expect that it has
There are many thousands of Duluthians who are underserved in medical care, who fall through the cracks of the insurance system, which is a powerful entity in this state and in this nation. It is time now to give this hospital back to the community.
At noon today, science teacher Dave Ellefson came down from the Proctor High School roof. He spent the night in a snow cave. We talked with him last night, 3 stories up. Afraid of heights, I tried to bring myself down to his level. It's not every night that you would find a school teacher on top of a high school imprinting the high school's initials into a snowbank. Ellefson went out on the proverbial limb with his students in November.
I just wanted to try something to motivate the students, and I figure the next time they have a worksheet or something they're whining about, they can think back to me freezing up here, oh boy, and then maybe they'll work a little harder at it.
Ellefson told his students if they got their term papers in on time, he'd spend a winter's night high atop the Proctor High School, burrowed like a pet gerbil in a snow cave. Keeping his word, he used his time grading those papers.
Some of them look good, some of them look okay. Others, well...
Are you married? Ellefson says last night's adventure is the craziest thing he's done during his teaching career. But he's young, give him time. Michelle Lee, News 6.
Oh, stop it.
Fingerhut employees were smiling from ear to ear today. They see Sears' loss as their gain.
Well, I was very pleased, naturally. I was pleased for, of course, the company because I see it as being a wonderful opportunity. And, of course, I was pleased for the customers themselves, Sears customers. I think that they would be more than satisfied with the different products that Fingerhut has to offer.
The Northland offices were added over the past 2 years, serving only as an outbound telemarketing center. But with this new development, who knows what lies ahead?
Any possible expansion or added jobs?
That may be too premature at this time, but it always is a possibility.
Definitely good for morale.
Yes.
For Sears, this move marks the end of an era. For Fingerhut, a new beginning. As you can see, for employees here, it's business as usual. But no doubt at this hour, company executives are busy planning strategies to make the most of this opportunity. In Duluth, Janine Johnson, News 6.
Yes, it all fits within the reinventing, the restructuring, and all that. Any other questions? Well, did he discuss the budget recommendations with you? I certainly must have had too much coffee.
Laying out our benefit level.
We have a $769 million budget shortfall, and his proposal says that those public employees, the most of whom are making between $12,000 and $26,000 a year, are the people who ought to bear the brunt of this shortfall. What happened to the proposition of raising income tax, raising taxes on those people who make over $100,000 a year?
Any questions that you have, we'd be happy to.
I don't think it's on the backs of public employees. I think it's allowing public employees to stand on their feet, to have their job, to provide for their families, to provide for the incomes that they do have, while we go into a restructuring and a reinventing of government.
It's going to be a coordination of what has been a somewhat fragmented effort over the past few years, although I must say that they've done a wonderful job over the last several years. But with the increase in testing and concerns about safety, regulatory requirements, and the cost, it's just going to be much more cost effective to do it in one place and to share resources.
Son, how old are you? This
this young man may be fighting Germans in a trench soon, Harper, a lot farther away from home than he is right now.
You're pushing some kind of a camera machine or something, that's all.
Look at you.
Stop it! You have no right. Yeah, well, not your business. Please.
All right, checking the move.
It's rampant in this business. Ready?
Okay, rehearsing, background watching.
Action.
How old are you, son? 6. This extremely good-looking old man may be fighting in a trench someday. He's gonna dig himself out of this one.
We evaluated the present detour that we're using, which is 4th Street, and felt it would be safer to take the trucks down through the tunnels and to take and drive them up through 4th Street and the city street system there.
The real thing that we're trying to get out of this is to hear from folks about their opinions of a trail. We have an advisory committee that includes over 25 members, which is a broad representation of user groups and residents and agency folks, but really we wanted to get a broader and a wider range of opinions and ideas about the trail concepts we've come up with so far, and that's why we're running a series of meetings.
You gotta get the room and how we. These mops are. It's been really interesting. It's been kind of fun. Mm-hmm. It's given me the opportunity to see the school from a little bit of the inside, you know, differently than as a school superintendent.
Companies that went up to the main floor of the library found nothing. Very little heat, heavily charged with smoke, but other than that, there was no fire up here at all to speak of.
for the last 100 years. So what has happened over the past 20 years is that states have been empowered to look at the abortion procedure and say that there are certain aspects of it that need regulation, and these are the laws that we're going to pass to protect the various interests that the state has for its own citizens. The federal mandate of FOCA, of course, would wipe out the state's ability to do this. That's why it's very, very important that the Freedom of Choice Act be defeated. Congressman Obey from the northwestern part of Wisconsin is a very influential member of Congress. At this particular time, he's